What's going on? How y'all doing? Welcome to another edition, class session 6. We are moving right through this class session 6 here at academicwave.com or Academic Wave. We're smart is the new cool. This course is called Social Studies, the Fundamentals. Social Studies, the Fundamentals, because we're learning to read not only the word, but the world. So as you come in the chat, if you don't mind, go ahead. Y'all know how we do roll call. Put your name in the chat if you happen to be able to do that. Put your name, your grade, as well as the city that you are representing. Go ahead and do that. You can even drop a couple of emojis. Give me some energy as I give you some energy. We're about to get this thing started. Today's session is about reading the world through art and music. Oh, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I know y'all are ready because I'm ready. Here we go. Thank you again. As people come in, I see you. I see you. As people come in, we're going to go ahead and continue to have people come in, and we're going to start this in about 30 seconds. We're going to start the class in about 30 seconds. I promise you it's going to be good. You might want to get a pencil and a piece of paper ready because it's going to be no time today. I'm talking like we are straight up giving you college, university material, but also remember, self-education is the best education anyway. So we're doing this today on the Tuesday morning, man. Let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Here we go. All right. Very cool. All right. Here we go. Here we go. So, social studies. There we go. Let me do a roll call right quick. We have a couple of people. We have a couple of grades representing. 7th grade, 8th grade. Got Ronnie back in the place. We got Amaris back in the place. Who else do we have? We have Zoe in the place. Sanaya in the place. Okay, here we go. There you go. Very cool. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. Here we go. I promise you. I promise you this is going to be good today. I promise you this is going to be good today. And you will learn something that will make you a better critical thinker. Because that's what we need in today's society. We need critical thinkers. Here we go. All right. So, social studies, the fundamentals. What are we going to go across? Or what are we going to talk about? The first thing. This is going to be quick today. First thing. Major concepts and ideas of the class. So far, what are our major concepts and ideas of the course so far? Let's go ahead and go over that. Here we go. So, one, how we think of power, right? Power is just not physical or something you do individually. It's also something that you can do with your mind as well as with the group of people around you. D history versus A history, right? Understanding how to view things from different perspectives. Here we go. Next up, windows, sliding glass doors, and mirrors. When you learn something, it could be like a window where you look out into a different world. A sliding glass door is when you actually walk in, when you enter that world. And a mirror is when you see yourself within what you're learning and within what is being taught. Next up, what do we have? Bam! Education. True education is bringing the smart out of you. It's drawing forth your own genius, right? Here we go. Next up, multiple intelligences, right? There's not just one way to be smart. Okay, Emerson, I see you in here. Atlanta representing. There we go. Good vibes. Here we go. Multiple intelligences, right? There are several ways, a lot of ways that you can be smart, right? You can be smart with words. You can be smart outdoors with nature. You can be smart with music, with people, with how you use your body as an artist with pictures, right? These are just several ways that you can be smart and use your intelligence. Also, we talked about culture. Here we go. Okay. So now, one of the major concepts we're talking about today is how to read the world. Sounds funny, doesn't it? What do you mean, how to read the world? What are you talking about, Dr. Johnson? Well, let me get straight down to the business, okay? Reading the world. So, when we think about reading the world, we want to think about text. All right. And when I say the word text, you're probably thinking, the first thing you're thinking is text messages, right? First thing you're probably thinking about are text messages. But text messages aren't the only thing to read. And a text is simply something that gives you meaning, something that tells us the meaning. So here we have right here, right? We have 1 plus 1 equals 2. That's not only with numbers, that could be with things. So that could be apples, right? 1 apple plus another apple equals 2 apples. That could be with cars. 1 car plus another car equals 2 cars, right? So it's not just with numbers, but it's the meaning behind it. Y'all with me? Okay. So text gives us meaning. Next up, also text, T-E-X-T, tells us narratives. And if we remember, I know we remember narratives. What? Narratives tell a story. That's right. Narratives tell a story. It tells stories. So now, when we think about telling stories, maybe the first thing to come up or you would think about would be reading books. Okay? Oh yeah, y'all see, straight out of the library shirt, talking about reading books, right? So let's go. When you think about text, you think about reading books. Okay? Here's some great books you can read when you get the time, right? So you can read books. Books have stories. Books tell stories. But that's not the only thing that tells stories, right? Not only do books tell stories, tattoos tell stories, right? Don't go out and get one just yet. Don't have the parents met, not yet. But we know that tattoos tell stories, right? Also, what else can tell a story? A quilt, right? A quilt can tell a story. My grandmother used to sew quilts. And when she used to sew a quilt, different patches meant different things. So this is how you can read how a quilt tells a story. What else? Murals. Murals tell a story, right? Murals tell a story. And here, a mural is simply a painting on the side of a building. Okay? Here, many times murals celebrate and acknowledge people who have passed on. So here you have a mural of, take a guess, and let me hear it. You know what artist that is? That is Nipsey Hussle. And here you have Kobe Bryant, right? And here's that word, not Los Angeles Laker, but Los Angeles culture. Remember, we talked about culture earlier this week too. So these tell stories about people. These tell stories about people. But not only that, what we also want to do, these stories connect the present and the past. They connect the present and the past. So we don't only want to learn more about the history. We don't only want to learn more about the past, but how does that tell us more about what's going on now and the future? Let's talk about it. All right, here we go. Connecting the present and the past. And we're going to do this in a way that normally is not done in school. But here at Academic Wave, we got it popping, all right? So first up, what's a way we connect the present with the past? So, narratives. Let's think of narratives. When you tell a story. Now, many times, even with our text messages, we don't even have to write words. We can use emojis. Here, you have the heart. Here, you have somebody crying, laughing. Here, you have somebody being cool, thumbs up, peace, all of this good stuff. Heart broke, right? All of this good stuff. Take a picture. It's lit. All of that good stuff. But guess what? That's not the only way that this has been used or pictures have been used to tell a story, to tell a narrative. There are other ways as well. And that would be, if you look back in ancient times, right? In ancient Egypt, The hieroglyphics, they told specific stories, right? Using pictures. So this is how we're connecting the present to the past, right? When you look at ancient Kemet and many of the societies within Africa, they told stories through pictures. All right. Now we're gonna go to it in a way that people usually don't. Even as negative as some things may seem, bam, Snoop Dogg, right? Throwing up gang signs. Many times we think that just came out of nowhere, right? Many times we think that just came out of nowhere. But how can we connect the present to the past? Let's look at this in a way that normally is not looked at. Remember, we're learning to read the world. So how is it connected to the past? Through mudras. Oh, okay, Dr. Johnson, what is a mudra? A mudra those are hand gestures. Those are ways of placing your hand that connect to the flow of energy. How you tell a message through your hands. So not only are these signals telling a message, but this has been done throughout history. If you look at the medieval times, even if you look at this picture in Italy, and also this picture in China of Buddha, both are throwing up similar or giving similar signs with their hands, right? And here it talks about it enables people to free themselves. This sign enables people to free themselves. Even when you look at your hand, there are different points on your hand that connect with different parts of your body. That's right. Different parts of your hand connect with different parts of your body. So we're learning some different things here at academicwave.com. Now, before we get started, I want to drop something in. We're not going to do anything physical, but I definitely want you to check this out mentally. We're going to talk about hip hop, okay? We're going to talk about hip hop. So, bam, right here, the roots of hip hop. Y'all know when you think of hip hop, who are some of your favorite artists? Who are some of your favorite artists when you think of music? Okay? Now, the music of hip hop, the roots of it come from hip. When back in the day, people would say, hey, man, what's hip? What's hip? We don't usually say that now, right? That's old school. But back then, hip meant knowledge, like what's going on, right? What was hip means what's going on. And hop means move, the movement of something. So music told a message. It talked about what knowledge, what information was being moved. But before we continue to go there, check this out. Before we continue to go there, let's do a quick mind activity. Bam, I think you might like this. I would like for you to place these events in the order that they happen. Place these events in the order that they happen. Quick brain break. Here we go. So, okay, Charles, I see you, big timer. 7th grade representing. Here we go. Place these events in the order they happen. So you have Lauryn Hill's, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, when she earned 11 Grammys and won 5 classic albums, right? Muhammad Ali, when he delivered one of the earliest rap lines before his fight against Sonny Liston. Salt and Pepper enters the scene as one of the first female groups. Drake, right? Here we go. Drake released his first album, and Kool Herc DJs his first block party. Which one you think was first? Okay? Put these in the order that you think they happen. Which one happened first? Which one happened second, third, fourth, and fifth? All right? Here we go. Yeah, it's okay. Even if some people in the room have different orders, that's okay. Here we go. Let's see which one happened first. First up, Muhammad Ali delivers one of the earliest rap lines about his bout or his fight against Sonny Liston back in 1965. Brother was flowing back in 1965. spitting straight game. Here we go. All right. Next up, we have Kool Herc DJ'd his first block party in the Bronx in 1973. We're going to talk more about that later on in today's lesson. So we have 1, 2. What do you think came third? Drum roll, please. What do you think came third? Bam! Salt and Pepper. Salt and Pepper enters the scene as one of the first female rap groups, 1985, okay? You want to see some style? Go back to checking those sisters out. They had it, right? Salt and Pepper's here, and we're in effect. Go. Okay, never mind. Let me just keep going. Here we go. Number 4, Lauryn Hill's Miseducation, when it earned 5 Grammys, 1998. And last but not least, that Salt and Pepper is something, boy, I'm telling you. Last but not least, Drake's first album was released in 2010. Probably some of your favorite people might be here today that we're talking about. So let's get back to learning to read the world through art and music. And we're going to talk about the roots of hip hop really quickly. Watch how we're going to do this. Here we go. All right. So what we're going to show right now is a silent video. We're going to show a silent video, and I want you to take a look. Remember, we're learning to read the world. So this video that I'm going to show is not going to have any music. It's not going to have anybody talking in it. But I want you to take a look and tell me what you think about this. And this is during the time when hip hop, this is during the origins, the creation, right, of hip hop, when hip hop started. So this is the neighborhood, the South Bronx, New York City in the 1970s. Okay, so that was a video that ABC did back in the late 1970s of the Bronx, where hip hop was created. Now I have a couple of questions that I want you to answer depending on what you saw in that video. Here we go. First question, what did you notice about the neighborhood? What do you think has taken place there? Okay, you don't have to write this down. You can just think about it, or you can say it out loud. What did you notice about the neighborhood? What do you think has taken place there? Next question. What means do you think people living in this environment would have to express themselves artistically? So what resources, what things would people be able to use to express themselves in that environment, in that atmosphere, right? We're talking about art, and art being a way that you express yourself. How do you think people would express themselves living in this environment? And next up, that's right, Chris, fires did happen. Next up, this video clip was left without any sound. if you were to compose or create music to go with this footage, to go with this video, what would that music sound like? What feelings, right? What emotions might you have to convey through the music or to talk about through the music? What narrative, right? Because we're talking about narratives. What narrative would you tell being in a situation like this? All right, let's go. Let's go next. Here we go. We're moving and rocking right now. This is what I want you to check out now. We're reading not only the word, but we're reading the world, right? Let's check it out. Here we go. And so now I got you. My bad. That's right. That's you, not Chris. Here we go. Next up, let's look at a map of New York City. And what I simply want you to do, because you can read the world through maps as well, is look at New York City. And New York City is broken down into 5 boroughs, or what are known as neighborhoods, right? New York City has 5 huge boroughs or neighborhoods. So here you have Staten Island, here you have Brooklyn, here you have Queens, here in the orange you have Manhattan, and here in green, you have the Bronx. All right? So I want you to think about, first of all, what do you notice? What places do you notice here on the map that are written down next to the red dots? Right here. What do you see here? That's right, Statue of Liberty. Here, World Trade Center. Here, the Empire State Building. Here you have Times Square. But all the way here, you have 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. So, if you look here, this was one of the first places where hip hop, where the music so many people love. So many people love to listen to, dance to, groove to, right? All of that good stuff started here, 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, right? Look, if you can see, let me go back. Bam. If you go back, you can see where so many people lived right here, right? But not only that, if you look here, you can see where this black line is, where you can see where this dividing line is. And if you can see that, it's called Cross Bronx Expressway. The Cross Bronx Expressway went through and divided the neighborhood, right? So this is how the Cross Bronx Expressway looked. This is how it looked. So you have the Cross Bronx Expressway right next to these apartments. So how would a freeway affect the lives of the people living there? I'll give you 30 seconds to think about it. How would a freeway being right there affect the lives of the people living there? Maybe, I don't know, maybe the air quality wouldn't be so good, right? Because there's so many cars that it creates a lot of air pollution. What else? Maybe there would be a lot of noise, right? A lot of noise outside. Also, maybe there wouldn't be as many places to play. Okay? And we have to understand that this isn't just something that happened in New York. This has happened in many cities, probably the city that you're living in. This has happened in Houston, Atlanta, New York, Baltimore, Detroit, LA, many places where the freeways, where the expressways, where these big, huge streets come through black neighborhoods and communities, right? And how they could affect them very negatively. So let's keep going here. Bam. You can also check this out. Not only can you read the world or read text through maps, but you can also read it through charts. Here we're going to read it through a chart right quick. We're coming to the end of class. The first chart shows the racial groups over time. Now, here you have 1960, 1970, 1980, 1990, and 2000. When you look at in here, here's the population. So at the bottom is the year. Going up and down is the population. 200,000, 400,000, 600,000, 800,000, 1 million, right? All the way up to 1,200,000 people. And if you look at each of these lines, right? The blue line is for non-Hispanic white. Red line for those representing who are black. Green, those who identify as Hispanic. Remember we talked about identities, right? And race being one of those identities. So if we answer this question, which population group increased the most during 1960 through 2000? So which group went up more than any group? That's right. Okay, so if you answer Hispanic, that is correct. Also, which population decreased the most? Here, if you read the chart, it says the white population decreased. Okay, let's answer some more questions here. Let's answer some more questions. What happened to the poverty rate? If we go from this chart, now we're going to go to this chart. And poverty is simply those who need help paying for human needs, such as shelter, where you live, such as food that you eat, such as the clothing. These are necessary things that people need in order to live. But if you need help in that area, that's what's considered poverty, when you're not able to meet the standard of living without any help. So here, what happened to the poverty rate? Now, the poverty rate is the green line. What happened to the poverty rate in the Bronx between 1970 and 2000? Remember, we're reading the world right now. Here we go. So if you look at the green line went from 20%, and then follow it from 1970. We're going to go to 1980, 1990, and 2000. So it actually increased, because here, 1970 is 20%, where 20% of the people needed help. But now it's at 30% in 2000. Last question. What was society like? So when we think of these things, when we put together the video that we saw, when we think about the two charts that we saw, how do you think people within that neighborhood, people within that community were able to express themselves through art and through music? How do you think they were able to do that? What was it like if they were to tell the story, if they were to tell a narrative? What was society like in the Bronx? Remember, one of the big neighborhoods, one of the boroughs. What was the Bronx like when hip hop was created, this music that we love? Do you think it was beautiful? Do you think it was fun? Do you think it was sad? Do you think it was frustrating, mad, disappointing, exciting? Well, depending on what we saw, we might think that a lot of things, and yes, they were negative and bad. However, remember here, we are also talking about not only narratives, but counter narratives, right? Things that we're normally not taught about. So it wasn't only bad times here. It was not only bad times here. We have to even that out. So we want to talk about what was the counter narrative at this time. What else was going on to help us understand the story? Give us the other side. Let's talk about the things that normally aren't talked about. So even while certain things weren't good, people were able to actually have love and respect and support from each other, to develop power from each other, to gather resources from each other. And this is another way that we can read the world through art. And here we have a person by the name of Jamel Shabazz. And if you look at very quickly, you look at what Jamel Shabazz has in his hand and has around his neck. What are those? That's right. They're cameras. And what Jamel Shabazz did is that he went around during this time. He went around taking pictures and photos of people within the neighborhood to show that there was still love, to show that there was still respect, to show that there was still support, to show that there was still community in the midst of the bad stuff that was going on. So let's see some of what Jamel Shabazz had as his photography. So he would show every ordinary day life and people and how they live within this society, right? Look at the sister rocking the chains, the hoop earrings. You know what I'm saying? My man right here in the jean jacket, bam. Look at these beautiful children, still playing, still having fun, despite the conditions, right? And look at these brothers here. Y'all don't know nothing about, the fat laces, right? The fat laces. Y'all don't know nothing about the fat laces. Even look at that crease. I don't know if y'all can see that crease, boy. Back in the day, we used to use a whole bottle of Stay Flow. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's keep going. Whole bottle of Stay Flow to get the crease in the jeans. So look, even though there were bad times, even though things might not have been the way they should have, people still stuck together and their culture flourished to the point where what we know as hip hop has taken over the world as far as musically. It's not only music, but it's the way you act, the way you dress, the way you perform, in a lot of ways, the way that you live. So, that being said, I hope that you enjoyed this edition of Social Studies, the Fundamentals, where we were able to read the world through art and music. When you get a chance to, even when just something outside of this, when you get a chance, you can even look at the lyrics of music back in the day, back in the 70s, back in the 60s, and compare that to music that's happening today. Because many times we just want to look at the news, we want to look at the newspaper, magazines, and books for information, when that information is also told to us. The narratives also come through music, through art, and that's through pictures, entertainment, photography, even dance and performance, right? So I hope you really got a chance to learn something new, learn something different here at Academic Way, where smart is the new cool. If you don't mind, before you head out, if you can go ahead and put your favorite emoji describing how you felt about this lesson today, I definitely would appreciate it. I hope you got something from it. This is fun for me. I hope it's fun for you. We're learning and listening and reading and writing and all that good stuff. So from Academic Wave, from Dr. MJ, I will holler at you tomorrow. Everybody have a good one. Talk to you later. Go ahead and leave a comment, leave an emoji, leave something for me before you head out. Hope you enjoyed the class. See you tomorrow where we'll talk about geography. We'll talk about geography in a way that's normally not talked about here. Academic Way was smart is the new cool. And remember, self-education is the best education. Anything you learn in class, even in this class, is just a start. It's up to you to learn more. Thank y'all, man. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. Peace.